Hey guys, it's Bassima. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my top productivity and time management tips. These are the most helpful things that I've noticed over the past few years when it comes to coaching my clients on improving their productivity. So let's jump right in. So the number one thing that I've found time and time again to be the most helpful to my clients is setting small, consistent steps instead of these big, inconsistent steps. It's really important to know when to scale back your action steps, especially at the beginning of working towards your goals. Before you panic that I'm encouraging you to scale back, we're really doing this with intention. We want to make sure that you're removing as much overwhelm as possible so that you can catapult forward. It can be super easy to want to go big or go home from the very beginning, but if you're starting from a place where you're not currently doing anything towards a certain goal, then make sure you're setting yourself up for success and focus on consistency instead of wanting to take big steps right away so that you remain encouraged and excited and feel like things are actually achievable. The next thing that I found to be super helpful is to introduce a short-term challenge. This can really help jumpstart your motivation when starting to work on your goals. Oftentimes, the people that I work with are super ambitious individuals that know they have so much potential, but they don't feel like they're currently tapping into it. So introducing a short-term challenge can be super motivating and encouraging. And if you want to kick it up a notch, you can also introduce an accountability factor. You can let a coach, a friend, your partner, family member, anyone that you think will actually hold you accountable, let them know at the beginning of the week what your challenge is, and then they can check in with you at the end of the week. I love using challenges as a way to help people get started. I encourage you to ask yourself, what challenge could you introduce this week that would help give you that jump start? So the next tip is actually something not to do. Something that I found to hold true with a lot of my clients and even myself is that once we set in place any routine or system, we have a tendency of getting really disappointed when things don't always go according to plan. Today, I really want to encourage you to not get so obsessed and attached with all these systems and these routines that you're putting in place and focus more on the doing, on the executing of what it is that will help you move closer towards your goals. When you're so attached to routines, the second something doesn't go according to plan, it can be super discouraging and make it very challenging for you to get back into the swing of things. So what I want you to keep in mind here is that the goal is overall consistency over perfection. Spend less time obsessing over your routines and your schedule and focus all your attention on what needs to get done and executing. So this brings me to my next point, all about clarity. I could do a complete video all about clarity because it truly is one of those things where my clients come into the coaching sessions telling me that the reason why they're not productive is because they don't have a certain clarity. So I do think clarity is important, but it's not everything. So where I think it's super helpful and essential for you to be clear is when it comes to scheduling. If you're creating a schedule, then yes, clarity is super essential there because it's going to help you remove as much overwhelm as possible and decrease the chances of you delaying or not executing on your plan because you're unsure of what it is that you want to work on that day. So clarity is definitely helpful there. On the other hand, where I see clarity hinder people from reaching their goals is when it comes to starting something new where they're unsure of the exact steps that they have to take. Let's say you're interested in starting to work online, but you're unsure of how to start working online. Because you can't see the full picture right away, this oftentimes actually acts as a barrier to my clients and stops them from getting started. What I encourage you to do instead, especially if you're wanting to work on a new passion project, maybe you're wanting to start a side hustle, do something new that you've never done before, first have a mindset of play, being curious, wanting to have fun and to learn without the pressure of adding in goals right away. So just focus on exploring at the very beginning. And the next thing is focus on the very first step only. Because the truth of the matter is you don't need to know all the steps at the very beginning. I remember in my journey of becoming a freelancer, I didn't know what it was going to look like to eventually start working online. But as soon as I took the first step, it revealed to me the next step and it continued to open up opportunities that allowed me to gain that clarity that I was looking for so much at the very beginning of my journey. So if you're wanting to start something new, the most productive thing you can do for yourself right now is one, allow yourself to explore without huge expectations or huge goals right away. And number two is focus just on the first step that you need to take to help get you started. The next thing I want to share with you is to realize that your energy is going to shift. Oftentimes when my client and I are in a coaching session together, my clients feel super motivated, inspired, and ready to set big goals. You've probably felt the same way before when you've watched a really inspiring YouTube video, you've listened to a podcast, maybe you watched a documentary, anything that caused you to have that adrenaline rush and to feel super motivated, where you feel like you're on such a high and that you can accomplish anything. It's truly the best feeling in the world. However, realistically speaking, this feeling isn't going to be there every day. What you want to do, again, to set yourself up for success is to factor that in. So what are things that you can do for yourself that help energize you, help you feel recharged, motivated, and inspired, and include those on the days where you're not as motivated or you're feeling more low energy. Having that awareness from the beginning of working towards your goals, it just helps you to be more mindful and intentional of things that you can include or remove and help give you that energy. Number 6 is to have more fun. Your encouragement and your motivation is going to be much higher if you feel like the thing you're actually doing has some fun to it, is enjoyable. So this can be either directly tied towards your work, especially if you want to start a new project or a new side hustle, focus on having fun at the beginning with it. But this also includes what you do in your everyday life. Are you having fun on a day-to-day basis? Or does the day feel like it's mostly made up of things that you have to do and not that you actually want to do? If that's how you're feeling right now, be intentional about having fun. It's really a time for you to disconnect and recharge and can give you so much more energy to work towards your ambitious goals. I consider fun as essential as work, and I think it's oftentimes neglected from our schedules. So I encourage you to ask yourself, what would make your new project, your new side hustle, whatever goal that you want to start, more fun and enjoyable? The next tip I have for you is that if you feel like certain things aren't going according to plan, especially when it comes to new tasks, challenging tasks, uncomfortable tasks, even boring tasks, this is where you should look into your mindset. Mindset is oftentimes 99.999% the root cause of why we're not actually doing the things that we say we want to do. I had a client that was sharing with me how he feels like he's always low on time. He felt like things were consistently popping up unexpectedly. When we started to dig a little deeper, we realized that it wasn't actually a problem of time. It was more a problem of communicating clear boundaries to his clients. And the reason why he wasn't doing that was that it felt like too uncomfortable of a conversation to have. So before you start to add more tasks to your plate, make sure that you're doing the tasks that you know will move you forward. If you're not, look into your mindset first before adding anything else in. Oftentimes, this is really the game changer that's going to allow you to catapult forward and gain that momentum towards your goals. And lastly, the tip that I've kept for the very end, which definitely doesn't feel very intuitive to most of us, is to create space. Instead of trying to fill every time slot of your day with something productive that you feel you need to be doing, leave empty space within your schedule. This will automatically act as buffer time that you might need throughout the day in case things don't go according to plan. Creating space is productive. This gives you more time for creativity, strategizing, actual emergencies, and even rest. I have personally seen countless times that creating space within a busy schedule really helps decrease overwhelm and increase the success of goal setting. So I definitely do encourage you to factor in that flexibility. These are the most helpful productivity tips that I've learned through coaching my clients over the past 3 years. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like and hit that subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you again for watching.